Tab Radio, your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
Okay, Adam Hamilton, Stuart McDonald, Shayne Williams and Clayton Douglas all to join us on the Sports Daily before 7 o'clock. Unfortunately today, Diggers there in Tasmania, today's the day they introduced the law to phase out greyhound racing.
Yeah, okay, I did not know that. Today's the day, is it? Right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, not good.
I'm not sure what can happen from now, but hopefully something does.
Wait and see.
Something changes.
Disappointing.
That'll be phased out in 2029 there in Tasmania. Flemington today, updating you. Race number 8 on the program is the highlight. It's the Oaks, the Group 1 for the 3-year-old fillies, $2,500. $1.85, get a good feeling. $7 about the Pearls. Just a Journey, $9.50. Spicy Lou, $11. Had a great chat to Thomas Carberry yesterday too. Strictly Business at $11 would be somewhat of a fairy tale win. $1,400 up to the $2,000, up to the $2,500 third up.
Yeah, it's a big effort. It would be a wonderful piece of conditioning, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's seriously good piece of conditioning. That's a real sort of northern hemisphere, get the horse to distance straight away sort of thing, isn't it?
How's Johnny Allen going these days? 56? Is that right on his borderline?
Yeah, I think so. Well, when we spoke to Thomas yesterday, he said he didn't want to ride the filly at 55 and a maiden, so he waited. I think she might have had 57 when she started, so that would probably give you... in saying that, 56 this time of year, Johnny, with all the money up for grabs, that's what you do.
Yeah. Oh, so he rode 55 in the Wakeful.
Yep.
So
he can do it.
Yeah, he would have had a meal or two this week. Be feeling good about himself. All right, we spoke to Glenn Ingram just before we do get to Adam Hamilton. Glenn Ingram yesterday, his best on the program today at Flemington Race 5, number 10 in Zudo. We also spoke to Robbie Griffiths yesterday, keen on that horse's chances. Value in the Oaks, race 8, number 12, Classic Gem, was $23 yesterday, now $26, and his roughie on the day comes up in race 9. Race 9 at number 9, Interest Point, at around the $23 as well in the final event. Just making sure that horse hasn't been scratched, and it has, so forget that. So his best race 5, number 10, and his value race 8, number 12. So that's for Glenn Ingram today at Flemington.
Throughout the decades, there has been one standout voice in harness racing. Adam Hamilton has conveyed the amazing highs and the heartbreaking lows. Retrovision are proud to present Adam Hamilton. Retrovision, lowest prices guaranteed. RAC members save an extra 5% every day at Retrovision.
Good morning to you, Adam.
Yeah, morning, fellas. Amazing week. Racing's absolutely back. The Spring Carnival certainly back, fellas. It's just been a phenomenal week over here. It's hard to imagine, other than perhaps if you didn't back the winner, and probably not all that many people did, it's hard to imagine a better story, a better outcome for the race than, an Aussie bred. There's a lot of people in it who epitomise the story that you can be part of a Melbourne Cup winner, and of course the Jamie Carr layer to it as well. It just had a sense of history about it, didn't it, 10 years after Michelle? So an amazing week for racing, and the weather's great today. I think they're going to get another phenomenal crowd out there at Flemington.
Let's hope so for day 3 of this wonderful carnival. And as you said, Adam, there's a lot to like about racing on the East Coast at the moment. There's also a lot to like in the harness space about this World Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, there is indeed. Your own Gary Hall Jr. blasted out of the gates on days 1 and 2 at the magnificent, picturesque Kaikoura track last Sunday and Monday. But the Canadian superstar James McDonald, appropriate name, isn't it, at this time of year? But he's probably as big in Canada as our J-Mac is in thoroughbred racing over here. And he's really flexed his muscle in this, well, particularly the last meeting and a half. We're at the halfway mark of the series. James McDonald from Canada has grabbed the lead off Gary Hall Jr. He leads on 98 points. Junior is on 85. And Blair Orange, the Kiwi, got off to a rugged start, but he got some really good points at Cambridge yesterday. So he's up to 68 points and he's in a close 4th spot there. So 10 of 20 heats done. There's still plenty of time. Addington tomorrow night is the 4th night of the series. They go to Winton on Sunday. The series will be close to done and dusted then because they just have that one final heat of the series, fittingly on the biggest day of harness racing, arguably in this part of the world, New Zealand Cup Day next Tuesday. But Junior's well poised. Let's hope he can bring it home in the second half of the competition, guys.
Yeah, fingers crossed he got off to an absolute flyer. All right, Tuesday, you touched on it there, Adam. Let's keep going with the New Zealand Cup.
Yeah, well, the draw came out last night, and it's been pretty good for Leap to Fame. It's been okay for Kingman. Of course, since we last spoke, Swayze's out of the race. So just the two Australians in it. No quest for a three-peat for Swayze. But so Leap to Fame is in 6. He'll move down 1 and start from 5 after emergencies come out. Kingman draws 12, but there's 3 emergencies under him. So there's 10 off the front row in the standing start. He'll start from wide on the front row, which for a horse having his first standing start race is actually not a bad thing. So I don't think Luke McCarthy will be too fussed by that draw. Best of the locals, Republican Party. He's a really good stand-start beginner. In 5, moves into 4, and Merlin in 3 moves into 2. Merlin back to winning form in the Kaikoura Cup on Monday. So going to be a tremendous cup. It's been a topsy-turvy build-up to it for Leap to Fame. There's no doubt it's going to be one of his biggest challenges so far, given his form's been perhaps a touchdown on his best, and there's a lot of horses standing up. The emergence of Kingman, Republican Party's gone to another level, and even standing start racing. He's won both of them, but they've been off handicaps, and he's stepped safely rather than brilliantly. So it's going to be a cracking race, one of the great New Zealand Cups on Tuesday. Other feature races on the day, we've got 4 Aussies in the Group 1 Dominion Trot, which is New Zealand's most famous trotting race. Jillaby Ballerini. She's that good. She's $2.70 favourite to become the first 4-year-old mare in history to win the Dominion. She's drawn down in 2. Now, standing start, there's a lot of pressure when you draw down on those inside barriers. The team wouldn't be really thrilled with that draw. Old Oscar Bonavina's there, Muscle Mountain, Bet and Win. Other Aussies in the race, RC Phoenix draws 4, Gus 17, so wide on the second line, and Parisian Artiste inside of the second line. So 4 Aussies in that one. Also on the day, we've got the 2-year-old size stake final, which is a terrific race as well. And just rolling on with that New Zealand flavour, it's going to be part of a really busy week or two for Luke McCarthy. So Luke drives, I'll get to it in a minute, Don Hugo first up from a spell at Menangle on Saturday night in a terrific free-for-all. Of course, former Miracle Mile and Inter Dominion winner. Then he goes across, he's got Kingman in the Cup on Tuesday. Then he's back to Australia because Don Hugo on tomorrow week has the first leg of the New South Wales Carnival of Cup Series at Wagga. And then he's back to New Zealand after that because Kingman's going to stay and on the 21st of November run in the Group 1 Christian Cullen after the New Zealand Cup. So busy time coming up for Luke McCarthy. And on Saturday night at Menangle, that free-for-all I talked about, the Italian Cup, what a race. Don Hugo 2, Max Delight, enormous in defeat last week, 3. Hi, my name is Jeff. He's not going to New Zealand anymore, but what a run in the Victoria Cup. And he'll probably lead, even though he's drawn out wide here in 8. Captain's Knox back to his best in 5, and Better Than Cash is flying in barrier 4. That's a terrific free-for-all there at Menangle on Saturday night, fellas.
What about here, GP? Can we just touch on that, please? Because we are about to have a chat to Stuart McDonald.
Yeah, well, this is just a super-duper meeting as well. It's really going to set the scene for a lot of other great racing over the upcoming week. So, race 5, Group 1 Golden Nugget. They're just such a good even batch of 4-year-olds. It's going to make for a great race. Golden Load draws to be a factor in 1. Copycat Queen in 2. Wave Rider showing good signs again in 3. Franco Motu in 9, in 8, Chualu 9, Just Call Me Mickey 10, and Elta Tribute 10, 12. Really, really good Golden Nugget, competitive. Not sure which way to go. Maybe I'm just so loyal to Just Call Me Mickey, I might have something each way again. Over to race 4, the Group 2 $100,000 Norm's Daughter Classic. Again, draw's so important. There's not a lot between these best mares, and you got sort of Sweet Vivian in 1, Heavenly Gypsy 2. Artie by the Seaside finally gets a draw in 3. Little Darling 4, Penny Black 6. Unfortunately, Wonderful to Fly right out in 9. And then from a WA Cup point of view, we saw all the stars flash last week, and I've got to mention that win of Minstrel. Somehow, he might be going better than ever, this horse.
Dominant display, wasn't it, really?
Diggers, it was just incredible last week to do what he did to those horses first up and sustain that sort of run. So you're probably looking to him. I know Mr. Smarty can keep improving, but we just haven't quite seen his best this campaign. So Magnificent Storm, he dodged them last week, gets barrier 1. He should really just be winning from barrier 1 tomorrow night. Captain Ravishing has been all at sea from bad draws coming wide the last couple, gets into 2. And Lavrajo says on paper didn't look good, but I thought the run was okay, and he can improve as well as he builds towards the WA Cup. So it's a terrific meeting. I'll be keen to hear Stuart McDonald's thoughts on it as well. My best, both at Melton on Saturday night. Race 3, number 5, Emily Vincent, could be really good value, and the stable's in terrific form at the moment. Race 3, number 5. And then race 8, number 4, Kiyang Stuka. I think it'll have the gate speed to get across. If it can cross Olivici at the start, I think that could be a big step towards winning the race. So Melton, race 3, number 5, Emily Vincent. Race 8, number 4, Kiyang Stuka. But it's an amazing week coming up next week. If you want to chat at any stage early in the week, I'll be across on the Big Bird over to Christchurch on Sunday, team.
Absolutely. All right. We might try and get you on Tuesday, Adam. We'll do some moving around and time differences and all that sort of stuff, but we'll try and get you on. Fixed odds market's all up for all the races there across the park already. Nice and early there in the WA Pacing Cup. We also have a futures market there. 380, 3 favourites. Minstrel, Mr. Smarty and Magnificent Storm all at 380. Nice and early for the Pacing Cup, all favourites.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not going to argue with that because the draw's going to be so important. If Magnificent Storm does what he should do this week, he's going to be right there. I just could not have been more impressed with Minstrel last week. We know where he's at. We know he delivers on the big occasions, and I think the others have got to rise up to him on a benchmark performance last week, guys.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Adam. We're at halfway of the carnival week. Well, probably not half time for you because you got to jump on the boot and get to New Zealand, but keep powering through.
Yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted, but this is what we're in the game for. Enjoy it. Good luck if you're having a try today.
Absolutely. There's Adam Hamilton chatting all things harness racing. As you mentioned, Diggers, we're about to catch up with Stuart McDonald. Got a nice book of drives there with Junior being away over there in New Zealand still for a couple of days. Stuart McDonald, good morning to you.
Morning, TC. How are you?
I'm going very well. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
Good.
Yeah, just about to start working some horses, getting ready. Got to do the early mornings now that everyone's away on holidays, and we're out here still getting things done.
Righto, so you're in charge, eh? You can take all the credit.
Well, I mean, let's not go that far. I don't know if I get all the credit, but I definitely get all the blame if it goes wrong.
Yeah, that's a good spot to be. All right, where should we start, do you think? Tomorrow night, who are you most excited to drive?
Well, I've pretty excited to drive Penny Black. She's obviously a very, very good mare, and yeah, didn't expect to pick up a drive like that. So yeah, pretty happy with that, and obviously the Nuggets on as well, and I get to drive the Alpha Tribute, who's going pretty well. So those are the big races, and those are the best 2 horses I'm driving on the night. So looking forward to them for sure.
How does it look from that draw with Penny Black? Good morning, Stu.
Morning, Diggers. Yeah, it's a little bit awkward just looking at it on face value, but obviously with Emily driving Heavenly Gypsy, they think that they can lead with it, and obviously they'll be holding it for sure this time. And she'll be hard to beat if she does lead. Getting around Little Darling and Artie by the Seaside could be a bit challenging, but yeah, I think it could just be some genuine speed on early anyway, which will suit her. And obviously she's very versatile no matter what happens. And if we get to the breeze, that's fantastic. If we don't, well, we know we can still drive it tough from back in the field later on in the race. So yeah, we'll just let it all unfold underneath us and then, yeah, work it out from there. But yeah, I haven't spoken to Youngie yet on what we'll be doing 100%, but I'd imagine that'd be somewhat the plan. And yeah, well, like I said, I think we've probably got the best horse in the race. Just not necessarily drawn the best, hence why Emily's jumped off. So yeah, looking forward to driving a horse like her, though, for sure.
No doubt, and just the way that you've described it this morning and the tone in your voice, with a slither of good luck, she can win this race.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think most people would acknowledge she's probably, if she's not the best mare in the state at the moment, she's number 2, I'd say. So, yeah, that always gives you some confidence. And they obviously drove her very confident in the free-for-all the other week as well. Said they were going to hold the breeze and hold Mr. Smarty out, which they did, and she ran a really good race from there. So, yeah, obviously the horse is working well, and we know it's in good form. And, yeah, backing against the mares, she should be able to be even more confident with her in the way we can drive her.
Clearly a pickup drive for you, Stu, and you've mentioned that, but just watching her replays and obviously being around the game a lot, do you think she's going to another level this campaign?
Yeah, she certainly seems to have. She's always been a big diesel truck, as Youngie calls her, because she's so tough, and yeah, she has shown speed before as well. She's done lack speed, but she just seems to this time and be doing even more work and looking even better and more impressive doing it. And yeah, she's certainly gotten better every campaign since she's been over here. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a really nice drive to pick up, and really looking forward to it.
Can you win the Golden Nugget?
I would have said I was a big chance with the couple of drivers I had a choice of before the barrier draw, and now it's looking a little bit less likely. But I do think that he's a pretty nice horse, Elton Tribute. Not displeased in the way he's going at all, and he was a super run last start. But yeah, just the barrier draws a great leveler, but there's potential for some speed on here early. Golden Lode's not known for being the quickest beginner. With Denny jumping on, she's obviously pretty confident that she thinks she can probably hold up with it. But yeah, there's a bit of gate speed there off the front. I think like Better's Pride and Wave Rider might be having a look at it with their speed, and it could potentially set up the race for us to get into it at some stage. But yeah, this he's flying, so his work's been absolutely super, and probably if not better than what it was before he was going to that race where he ran second last start. So I'll drive him with some confidence and just hope we get some sort of luck and running and just a little bit of genuine tempo throughout.
Is he similar to Penny Black in the fact that he's pretty versatile, or do you need to put him into the race at some stage?
He's pretty versatile. I'd probably say he's probably not as good as her, but yeah, he's pretty versatile, and he can do the work. I made him do some work when I drove him a couple of starts ago, and he was a really good third over 2,500 metres behind Tualu in a heat a few weeks ago. And yeah, he sat in the breeze last start, and they didn't go fast early, but they still ran the last half in 2:27 quarters, and it was only Franco Motu who peeled off his back at the top of the straight to beat him. So yeah, like I said, there's nothing. I don't think he could be going any better than what he is. So yeah, we'll definitely be driving him however the race unfolds for us, and I know I've got the horse that can do something to get himself into the finish no matter what happens.
Okay, so that's the Norm's Daughter and also the Golden Nugget, Group 2, Group 1 respectively. You've got a busy night as you flagged, Stuart. Is there a drive or two on that we haven't touched that you might be really keen to discuss this morning?
I'm quite keen on the chances of rolling down the river in race 9.
Okay.
He's about $4.80 at the moment, and I reckon I had the drive on the one horse as well, and I just messaged Hayden and said, I'm pretty sure this other one can win, so do you want me to stick with yours? Obviously, Hayden Reeves gives me a lot of drives, so I usually try to stick with him when I can, but I messaged him and said, do you think yours is a chance? Because I reckon this other one's a really good chance of winning, and he said he was happy for me to jump off and drive the other one, so I did that, and yeah, it was a good run last start. It was just a bit close to the speed where it run fourth, but its win before that was super, and I reckon in this sort of field I can get it to do some work, and I reckon it can be right in the finish, even over the mile from out there.
All right, so do some work early and hopefully find somewhere on speed. Is that what you're thinking?
He'll just let him slide in early. That's what he does. Yeah. He's not blessed with a whole lot of gate speed. He's just okay. So, yeah, it's not a full field. There's only I think 9 or 10 in it. There's only 10 in it over the mile, so we just slide across. We shouldn't end up too far back. There's usually a bit of speed on early, which it looks like there will be in this race too with icy cold. Barrier 3 is pretty fast, so yeah, we'll just slide it across, and somewhere in the last lap it can do a bit of work and get itself for the race. Like I said, it's going pretty good.
Yep. Race 3, Nathan Street, short price favourite at the moment, $1.75. First up from a spell last time out. Second up should improve. Is that fair?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I think this horse would probably be our number 1 seed for the Nugget, which sounds a bit weird because he's not even in it, but he's got a lot of ability. He's just had problems ever since we got him. As you can tell, he was first up for a year last week, and I think Junior would probably like his drive again. Hopefully he's not listening, but yeah, he would like that drive again, I'd imagine. Senior certainly wish he could see Junior have another go at it as well. Yeah. So, but he's a really nice horse. He's got a lot of ability. Obviously, like I said, he's had problems. He had one major problem. We got him back from that. There's no dramas with that anymore. But just he was nearly ready to go about 3-4 weeks ago, and then he just got a couple of niggling problems, and it just set us right back. And yeah, we weren't able to get him quite ready to get him to the nugget, and then he drew bad in that heat. And like I said, Junior will probably like that one again. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to qualify, but he's got high speed, so I'm pretty sure he can lead that. And if he leads, I really think if he shows his best, they won't see what way he went. But it'll just be a matter of holding up early and hoping he does everything right and he goes to his best.
All right, fingers crossed the positive driver change helps as well. Junior off Stuart. That's race 3, Nathan Street. So just recap for our listeners, Stu, then, if they are investing at Gloucester Park, who's the strongest 1 or 2 pushes you can give them?
Oh, well, I do really like Nathan Street, and $1.75 probably is a decent price from that barrier. And then I do like Rolling Down the River as my best chance of winning. And yeah, obviously the group, I'd like to say that Penny Black's a really good chance too, but it's always hard in group races. So yeah, and she's $3.30, which is not terrible. So yeah, those are my best 3 for the night anyway. Beautiful.
Lovely. All the best, Stuart. Hopefully there's a couple of winners there.
No worries. Thank you very much, guys.
There's Stuart McDonald. All right, good push for a couple there.
Yeah.
And he's driving the 9th, Rolling Down the River, $4.80 with Tab Touch at the moment on the 3rd line of betting.
And that was a good push, was it not?
Yes.
Very good push. So quite keen there, Rolling Down the River, but certainly very excited to be driving Penny Black in the Norm's Daughter.
Absolutely cracking night of pacing here at Gloucester Park tomorrow night. Shayne Williams and Clayton Douglas to join us on the Sports Daily very shortly.
On the Sports Daily, the Shayne train's coming into the station. Here's Shayne Williams with his winners for tonight's WA Greyhound Racing.
All right, Shayne Williams about to join us on the Sports Daily. As we said yesterday there at Cannington, he was able to get his best up at just north of $4. Race 8, number 7, successful. And then we had to wait till the last, but race 12, number 3, was a winner as well. Tipped in the morning at $4.40. So saw them very well yesterday. Shane, a very good morning to you.
Morning, boys. How are we?
Very well. Congratulations. You saw them very well yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad night either, Diggs. Come away with 3 winners as a trainer as well. So it was one of the better nights last night. So it was pretty easy to wake up this morning.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. A little fresh and down south, lots of exercise, clean living, and look what happens.
Still paying for that trip down south, just quietly. It was brutal.
Yeah. Oh, well. You've come out the other side, though, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know about that, but anyway.
Well, you're still breathing. You're still upright.
Yeah, I just heard little Birdie told me you're heading to the Punters Club Friday night at the Gloucester Park. I'll see you there.
Oh, you're coming, are you?
Yeah, got a team of greyhound trainers heading there, so
wonderful.
that'll be good. Good fun.
We'll have a frothy.
Yeah, maybe one.
Yeah, just one.
Who's doing the form for you?
Oh, well, Cody Charles, he should know a thing or two, so
he should, yeah.
he'll be getting the blame if we don't win.
All right, we'll back the same as you.
Unlikely.
Exactly. Righto, let's get your plays, please.
Yeah, we'll kick it off tonight, boys. Race 3, number 1, Osprey Kronos. Racing really well of late without winning. With the exception of last week, he had been racing in provincial class company and was finding that a little bit tough, so returned to country class novice last start and was a nice 3rd placing. And last time he drew box 1 was 6 starts back and he cashed in there. Looking to repeat that again tonight, boys. Race 3, number 1 to kick us off.
All right, race 3, number 1, $2 currently with Tab Touch. Where do we go next? Yeah,
race 5, number 3, Sunset Buckles. She's been running well of late since she dropped back to 300 metres. Was a tragedy beat last start. Dead set should have bowled it in. And we are relying on a little bit of luck, though. She is a bit tardy early, but really does smash the line hard. Happy to play her each way, boys. Race 5, number 3.
Okay, and your final selection, please.
Yeah, race 10, number 6, Sunset Skylight. Been disappointing her last 2 runs. She's gone under at short quotes, but I thought the map looked quite kind to her tonight with boxes 4 and 5 showing good speed and heading towards the fence. And on a night, this one can really fire out of the lid. So we just haven't seen that the last 2. So we need her to bring that back tonight. 10-6 Sunset Skylight to finish us off.
All right, that's at $4 with Tab Touch currently. Who's the best?
Yeah, the race 3, number 1, Osprey Kronos. Doesn't win out of turn, but normally when it draws red, it does cash in, and this is not a strong affair. So 3-1 is the best tonight.
All right, lovely. Shayne, thank you. Best of luck. We'll chat tomorrow morning.
See you then, boys.
There's Shayne Williams with his best today at Mandurah. All right, catch up with Clayton Douglas very, very shortly. Mark from Vic Park makes a good point. If MB and GK, Mr. Brightside and Giga Kick, come for the Gold Rush. Wow, what a race. No local horse can beat these horses.
Well, they're high end, aren't they? Both of them, clearly.
You get a good measuring stick if you're a local horse.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, very, very much so. That would be star power personified, would it not?
Yes, it would be. Absolutely. All right, your best bet today, Diggers. The listeners are taking you on at Northam.
Really keen. Race 7, number 2, Strapping Profit for me. Second up today. Love the return run. And 1,300 metres should suit.
All right, why are you really keen?
I think he's a Saturday horse.
Oh.
Saturday horse. He's only had the 4 starts, lightly raised, drawn a gate, have to carry some weight. I think he deserves that weight in this company. Awfully hard to beat.
All right, join in the conversation, 0427 789 571 on the Retrovision text line. Of course, we spoke about it a little bit off the top of the show. The squad for the first Ashes test here on November 21 in Perth was announced for the Aussies there yesterday. Your starting lineup, Diggers, please. Have you put that together?
What I think or what I'd like?
What you would do as chief selector.
I would open the batting with Usman Khawaja alongside McManus. I wouldn't find a spot for Weatherald. I would bat Smith at 3. I would bat Cameron Green at 4. I would bat Travis Head at 5, and I would play Bo Webster 6, Alex Carey 7, then your 3 bowlers and your spinner. And that's not Abbott, that's, Stark, Hazelwood, Boland and Lyon.
So Smith at 3, he doesn't really want to play 3, does he?
No, he doesn't, and he's captain, so he will bat where he wants to bat. Yeah. So, but I think Steve Smith can bat 3. Like Steve Smith wanted to open, and he did open. So he can open, he can bat 3. We've seen him bat 3. He can bat 4, 5. He can bat anywhere. But if there's just that little nag on Green I don't think Webster can bat higher up the order than 6. I just think that's his spot at this stage.
What about the fact that McManus has made all the runs this year batting at 3? Does that make a difference?
Oh, look, it has to be considered. It has to be considered. But
is it more about the fact that Weatherald, you don't think, why not Weatherald? It's a simple question.
I'm not knocking Jake Weatherald, but I just think McManus. I am a believer in Bo Webster.
Okay.
So
it's either Weatherald or Webster.
Yeah, and I'm a believer. I think Webster's just a really unique cricketer. He's a bit of a throwback. He can bowl spin, he can bowl seam, he can bat. He's a wonderful slipper. He's just your Mr. Fix-It. He can do anything for you, and I think he needs to play. And the other thing I like about McManus, perhaps opening, and some will say, well, what about it makes sense with Weatherald? I get it. Khawaja won't be there at the end of the summer. After, and it might. I think he'll get to the end of the summer. Sorry, but then that's it. So if you've got McManus opening up there, then you only need to make perhaps one change. And this has been this Australian batting lineup in the past 2 and a bit years. It's all over the shop. There's been a heap of change. And one of the constants has been Khawaja at the top of the order. That's about to go. He's 39, Usman? I think he's getting up 37 or 39, but he's advancing big time in years. So this is his last test series.
38.
So he's in between.
Well, born on the 18th of December, so 39 during the Ashes.
Yeah, so he's 6 weeks away from turning 39. So he will go at the end of this Ashes. And if you've got McManus up there, then perhaps if you want, you can play Weatherald alongside McManus as your 1-2. Because there's, I think Cameron Green's the only player under 30 in this Australian Test squad. Only player. Like it's borderline Dad's army. It really is. Now there's the balance that you need to strike between experience and youth and you're here to win an Ashes right here, right now. But this is an ageing Australian Test squad.
So this time, in 12 months' time, we're thinking probably Weatherald and maybe Renshaw.
Perhaps. Yeah, it could well be that.
And then we've got to look for a replacement for Steve Smith soon, you'd think.
Yeah, agree.
That's not far away.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't think it is. But
does Nathan Lyon go on past the Ashes?
Yes, absolutely. In saying that, though, Roccacelli is
he's the next.
I think he's emerging. I think he jumped Todd Murphy.
Kuhnemann?
I think Kuhnemann's, for mine, Kuhnemann's your subcontinental spinning option. He's what, in those conditions where, and he's different. He's orthodox, left arm orthodox, as opposed to that right arm, finger spinner. But I think Roccacelli's a really talented spinner. And you have a look at him now. Corey gets picked for a WA regardless of where they play, what surface they're playing on, and he takes wickets. Every innings, he takes wickets. And he's in the mix going forward, absolutely.
What about the English? How are they travelling? We know they've had they've had some games, and it's a little bit different. Clearly, it's T20s and it's one days in New Zealand, but you still get a little bit of a guide on the form on some of their players. Harry Brook made some decent scores, but also mixed in there with some average ones.
Yeah, look, they can be a little bit up and down, but they're coming here with a batting lineup which, at its best, if it has a really good day, like if it has a good day, it can put on some.
I'll score 350 in a day.
Comfortably and more. Yeah. If for some reason the Australian attack's a little bit off, and who knows, it might be day one, day two, no Cummins here, and you think, well, okay, we've got an opportunity. Stark's a wicket-taking bowler, but if he's not getting the ball to hoop around after the initial blitz, does he become straight, pretty much straight up and down, and then you can get into the, Boland's got a wonderful record, but, those in the England camp will say, well, he holds no fears. We're not frightened about Scott Boland. We can take down Scott Boland. We've done it before. We can do it again. So, yeah, look, that's their strength, is their batting lineup. And now they get a look at an Australian bowling attack for the first test. I'd say the second test as well. No Cummins. It's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity for them to put their noses ahead in this series.
I don't think we're any closer to knowing what the English bowling lineup's going to look like, though.
No. Is it Jofra Archer, Mark Wood? Who is it? What does it look like?
Can you play both of them?
Yes. I think you can. Pure speed.
Yep.
Pure speed. Pace.
Even if you're sort of a little bit worried if they get through the series, if they get through the game?
Well,
they're both under sort of injury concerns. They haven't
Well, you have to see what the conditioning is like once they're here. But don't... The old saying, I love fast bowling. No, you don't. No batsman loves fast bowling.
And that is genuine fast.
Express bowling, no batsman in world cricket walks out to the middle of the crease and goes, how good's this? They might tell themselves that, but they don't like it. No one loves it when the ball's whizzing around your ears.
Not here in Perth either.
No. So it's a different challenge. And that mid to high 130s, early 140s, you go, yeah, that's okay. But when it starts cranking up and it's high 140s, early 150s, that's when it becomes uncomfortable. And the opportunities to score can be few and far between, and therein comes pressure. You're not ticking over the scoreboard. It's a completely different beast, high-end fast bowling in Test cricket.
So with the travelling party there for the English, they've obviously got those two we just spoke about, Mark Wood and Jofra Archer, Gus Atkinson, Josh Tongue and Bryden Cass. Only Wood has played a test in Australia.
Yeah.
Of those five.
Yeah. Which is why I think we all acknowledge the batting side of things for England is their strength. That's their one, Wood.
Yep. So it's the batting lineup for the Australian bowlers, really. That's where the match is going to be. Well,
correct.
The series is going to be.
And that's why with no Cummins, they get a really good opportunity. They get a good look early doors.
Do you think for them they'd be looking to get in first and make a stand?
I think so.
It doesn't matter?
Well, it doesn't matter, but I think if you win, show some intent. If you win the toss, bat. Here in Perth, that wicket will do a bit early doors. Make no mistake about that.
It's probably going to be a little bit warm too, you'd think.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. But come day 2, day 3, it'll be perfect to bat on. It'll quicken up a little bit, but it would be a great sign of intent if they win the toss, England, and say, "Yep, we're ready to bat here. We'll take you on." and will take you down.
Yep. Australia $1.62, England at $2.88. That's for the first test. 162, 288, a draw at $9.50. You'd be surprised.
Correct.
And then for the series, the Aussies are $1.55, England at $3.25 for the Ashes.
You're going to the first test here, eh? Is it opening day? First day you're going?
Yeah, November 21 and then November 22.
Oh, you're going both days?
Railway Stakes Day. It's the day before Railway.
Yes, it is. So you're going to the cricket?
No.
Oh,
God, no.
but you're going to the cricket on day one?
Yeah. Got the itinerary sent from the mates that I'm going with, and they reckon get to the ground at 8:30.
8:30?
Oh, I said, what?
What for?
What time's the game?
Breakfast beers.
10:30. Wouldn't it? Somewhere
Yeah, it
around
would
there?
be 10:30, 10 or 10:30 because it's going back obviously into the East Coast.
8:30. It's a bit early.
I've seen you
I'll
early.
be enjoying sleep-ins by then.
No, yeah, yes, you will.
Oh, dear me. All right, hopefully we'll be going to Ascot during the carnival at some stage this year as well and seeing Giga Kick there at the races. His trainer, Clayton Douglas, joins us on the Sports Daily this morning. Clayton, thank you very much for your time and a good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Clayton, good morning. Great to have a chat to you. How is Giga Kick after what we saw him do fresh?
Yeah, look, he's trained on really well. Really happy with him. He come through his first up run at Caulfield in really good order. He went back to the trials last week and just had a cruise around, and he had a nice gallop this week. And look, he's ticked all the boxes, so I feel like he's ready to go.
All right, that gap between runs since we've seen him in the Scalacci, was this always the plan, or has it just worked out perfectly?
Yeah, it's just worked out perfect. This was always the plan, to sort of run him in the champion sprint second up. He's got a pretty good second up record, and obviously he performed so well first up, and he looks like he's taken the necessary steps for his improvement. And yeah, like I say, I'm looking forward to Saturday. I think he's in really good order, and he's going great, so it should be a good race.
Clayton, can we say he is back, or is it too early to say that?
Well, look, he's going really well. Obviously, what he done as a 3-year-old, he was, winning all those stakes and Doom and 10,000s and all that sort of stuff. But to win a Scalacci first up off one jump out, having known how much improvement he had in him, was pretty exciting. And he's this race has been a race that he's had a couple of goes at, and he hasn't been able to get under his belt. So hopefully Saturday we can have a bit of luck and put our best foot forward.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed. He obviously hasn't shown his best in some previous preparations. What's been the difference this time in work?
Well, last preparation he was coming off such a long layoff, and he took a couple of runs sort of to get him where I want him to be, and he obviously was narrowly defeated in an Everest, and sort of his last run up the straight last year in this race, he probably didn't have the best of luck. It was sort of steady run race, and they quickened and just took him a little bit to get going. But, we sort of gave him a nice enough break, and he's had a late winter campaign in Queensland, and we've been able to keep that residual up to him. And this time round, he's not carrying as much condition. He looks to be moving really well, and I've been really happy with how the horse is. So, he's had sort of 12 months of consistent training now, and off a long layoff, that's probably been the best thing. And he's sort of ready to go come Saturday.
Clayton, he's adept on all surfaces, but there is the forecast, looking at it from this side of the country, of a bit of rain around on Saturday. That wouldn't be any issue to you, would it?
No, I wouldn't think it would be. It's amazing how that Flemington track has sort of held up, especially with all the rain we had earlier in the week. But it shouldn't be an issue. He ran second in a TJ Smith behind I Wish I Win on a heavy 10. So I don't think that's going to be a real issue. If there's a bit of cut in the track, he has performed. I think he won an all-8 stakes on a soft 7. So it's probably a touch of an advantage for us, to be honest. So we'll sort of see how we go.
No pressure, Clayton. You are on Perth Radio. But what happens after Saturday?
We'll obviously keep the door open to back him up in the CF4 next week over the 1400 at Caulfield. We're just going to see how he performs Saturday, how he comes through it. Keep that option open throughout next week. There's a fair chance you will see us over in Perth. Just whether he's over there for 2 runs or 1, I'll sort of work that out. But I really feel the race like the Gold Rush over the 1400 would be really suitable. So, there's a chance that we come for a visit, and it should be a good little holiday to have.
Fingers crossed. So if you do go to the CF4, does that probably rule out the Winterbottom? Is that what you're thinking at this stage?
Well, I would say so. I would say so, just obviously with the timing of it all. But like I say, we'll sort of get through Saturday, and there's so many good options for him over the next sort of 5 to 6 weeks. It's really good that we've got these options ahead of us, and not ruling out the Winterbottom just yet, but sort of we'll determine on Saturday and whether we back him up as to where we look like we're heading.
I know there's a lot of water to go under the bridge yet, Clayton, but could you use a trip west throughout the Pinnacles as perhaps a reconnaissance for a race like the Quokka? Or if we are seeing the best version of Giga Kick back now, could he go back to Sydney for a TJ?
Yeah, well, that's a really good question, actually. It's sort of, heading over to Perth, he's a really easy horse to travel, so there's no problems there. It's generally speaking, the timing just hasn't worked for a Quokka for us, sort of in recent years with the TJ where it lands. But like you say, we'll just sort of see how he goes this time round. He will have had a trip over there, so we'll get a bit of a familiar sort of scene to it, and we'll obviously have that option open if there was a chance that happened for sure.
All right, and up to the 1400 now, you think sort of this stage of his career, that's going to be maybe his trip?
Yeah, like he won an all-age stakes as a 3-year-old over the 1400 in Sydney, beating Saki and Cascadian, and it was a great win that day. So 1400's right up his alley, and he's obviously a winner up the straight. So Saturday just looks a really nice race second up for him, and we're obviously looking forward to that. Jolly Star's always very hard to beat, and we've obviously got a new horse on the scene with Tentaris, who was so impressive last week and gets obviously the weight pool being a 3-year-old. So I'm looking forward to Saturday. I think my bloke's in really good order, and he'll run a really good race. And going forward, we've still got plenty in the tank.
All right, so you've got some runners at Pakenham as well, and nominated a few for Monday at Mornington. Do you have anything else for our listeners to follow in with?
I got a nice filly that won at Mornington last start. She's in tomorrow night at Pakenham. I may take her out of there and run her at Mornington Monday. Her name's Final Moment. She just got beat first up at Sandown and won impressively at Mornington. So she's a filly that I've got a bit of time for, and she's really progressive. And I think a horse that's in the last tomorrow night at Pakenham, he's double figure odds. There's a couple of gear changes and he's back in trip. A horse called Gallant Prince. He can sort of bound forward from a good gate, and hopefully he can run him into the ground tomorrow night. All
right, well, best of luck there, and also the best of luck on Saturday. Look forward to seeing you here in the West, Clayton. Go well.
Thank you very much.
There's Clayton Douglas, of course, the trainer of Giga Kick. So still a Winterbottom on the radar. Gold Rush,
very much on the radar.
Likely.
$6 with Tab Touch, the second favourite, behind the heavily supported Mr. Brightside, $3.50.
$3.50, Mr. Brightside.
So that just says he's coming.
Yeah, open at 11. We'll see him. Yep. Gee whiz, what a cracking race that is Saturday, actually. The mile.
It's a burster.
Wow.
It's a burster, isn't it?
Some of the others. Now, hopefully, Tentaris gets to the race. The sprint's a good one.
Yep.
The stakes has sort of been whittled away a little bit.
Yes.
Fair to say, but the champions, my goodness.
Mr. Brightside, Chow Wolf, Pericles, Lake Forest. Good morning, Mrs. Haggis. Step Artie, Von Hawk, Pride of Jenny, Steffi, Magnetica, very much in form. Treasure the Moment, Like a Lucy. Great race.
Yeah, cracking.
Great race.
Lake Forest, Tom Marquand.
Yeah. No, Zach Purton. Surprised by that?
Bit stiff.
Imagine if they rang up and said, Zach, would you like to make amends? I don't even think Zach would dignify it with a response, would it? He actually wouldn't even pick up the phone, would he, Zach? He'd see the UK number. He'd probably say, do not answer.
Yeah, just, the devil emoji maybe or something pops up.
Or another emoji.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break on the Sports Daily, come back on the other side.
Tab Radio, your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
All right, coming up on the Sports Daily after 7 o'clock, we'll chat a little bit about the features there at Ascot on Saturday. We'll catch up with Nick Ashman and Jules Vallance, hopefully get you a little bit of a preview in some form after 8 o'clock for the Oaks, Flemington, get you some winners there. We caught up with Glenn Ingram yesterday. His best was race 5, number 10 in Zudo. All right, we'll head out to the news. There is some news around the Perth Cup, courtesy of East Coast Radio, as well as surprise sort of entrant coming over to the Perth Cup this year. So we'll talk a little bit more about that after this.
Make Tab Radio your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
Taylor Cortland and Digby Beecham with you on the Sports Daily this morning. We flagged it just before we went to the news bulletin that there is a little bit of news floating around courtesy of the Perth Cup. East Coast Radio up there in Queensland, I think it was Steve Hewlett caught up with Tim Fitzsimmons. Of course, Fitzsimmons Racing bought One Smooth Operator.
Right.
So he's staying in Australia. This is an update on One Smooth Operator's plans going forward.
The initial plan is to take him for the Perth Cup. That's where the owners want him to race next. So we go and pick him up from quarantine today. We'll take him to my spelling farm, and we'll just at Dunkerry and Hyton. We'll give him a little spell there, and then probably only be there for about 10 days, and then he'll be back up here in Bendigo. It's not a long time until the Perth Cup. It's exciting. We've sort of been there a long time ago. I'm sure things have changed a little bit. I think it'll be a perfect sort of race for him. It's 2,400 metres. They'll go quick, and, you'd be very unlucky to get a wet track on Perth Cup.
So One Smooth Operator for the Perth Cup. If that comes to fruition, that'll be a nice addition. He went on to say in the interview that he's been told the horse would probably get about 58 kilos.
Right.
At this stage, which...
It's a winnable weight for a horse of his nature.
After what he did at Moonee Valley, for sure. Absolutely. I'd have to listen to the full interview. I've just got that grab there, courtesy of the Perth Cup news, but I'm not too sure who trains the horse at this stage. I haven't seen any news about that just yet.
Okay.
So we'll try and do a little bit more investigating and throughout the show and bring you that news, but that is big news.
It is big news. And now an 8-year-old ran 16th in the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday behind Half Yours, beaten 14 lengths. Was a little bit soft in the market, and that's perhaps because of the track. We know that he's a
Harry Coffey said that post-race, and his wheels were spinning.
Right, okay. And that's on a 5. So clearly he's a horse who appreciates good ground. He got that in the Moonee Valley Cup, and he saw what he was able to do then running down Athabaskan. So,
when was the last time a Perth Cup was run on a soft track?
Oh, good question. Good question.
Ever?
Yeah. Well, as that interview said, you'd be very, very stiff if you got a wet track on January 1 here in WA. It just doesn't rain that time of the year. So, look, he'd be a wonderful addition to the Perth Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's a little bit more excitement about the East Coasters this year now. We've probably said that last year as well. But Giggy Kick, Mr. Brightside, One Smooth Operator. I don't know if Mr.
Overpass will come back.
Yeah, well, he's almost WA horse.
Fresh off what he did in the Everest.
Yeah, awesome. And if the Hayes are bringing Mr. Brightside, does that mean they maybe bring another?
Perhaps Pericles in the mix. We heard that from Jason Walsh saying that's the reason we gave Pericles to Bjorn, and knowing full well that we nommed him for Perth because Bjorn's had success. So it seems a very deliberate approach there from the big operation.
Yep, so it seems to be, not sure, more so on the radar maybe for the East Coasters, and I'm not sure who's been at the front of that, but whoever's done the marketing or they're helping for Perth racing, kudos to you.
Yep, very much so. Very much so.
All right, a couple of text messages to get through. We'll get through those very shortly, but we need to pay a little bit more attention to racing at Ascot on Saturday, Diggers, because there's 3 features and 3 very nice features. Looking forward to it. Kicking off race number 7, we'll go in racebook order. The Faritha, 1,400 metres for the boys. Their traditional lead up to a WA Guineas. 2:05, the favourite, King of Light. He's a Phoenix we get to see back at the races, off a little bit of a freshen at 6.50. 7.50 about Delta Sun Rockfest. We spoke to Dan Pearce yesterday at $8. And then Streamlined, a little bit of X Factor at $8.50, coming off a win, which has turned out to be a nice maiden form line. But looks a progressive horse. You've got Mardusa at 12. Also in the field at bigger odds, Country God, Testy Pharaoh, Statewide, Radiant Light and Heaven Specified. Start with the favourite, King of Light, 1,200 metres. Was it too sharp for him first up? No. Up to the 1,400 metres. Looks like a massive tick. Gate number 1.
Not sure it's perfect, but what he did in the Belgrave here was, and it was a gun ride. It was a gun ride from William. He had him in the spot and then was able to, as we talk about with William, give the horses that perfect flow, that perfect smooth run into the straight, and then from there he let down to suggest, and I think we all acknowledge the 1,200 was always perhaps going to be on the short side. Now he gets 14, he'll get 16, he'll head towards a northerly, all things considered. He quite rightly is at the head of the market with Tab Touch.
Yeah, it's very hard to go past him, and even the way that 1,200 metres was run, they just came home really, really quickly. You would have thought if they ran a really frantic 12, that was going to suit him a little bit better. But his closing sectionals, I think Scott spoke about it on Tuesday about Talking Co. It's one of those runs where you watch it and you think, it was okay. But then you go back and look at the sectionals and the data and it just jumps off the page.
Yeah.
Like it looked a lot better when you dissect the times as opposed to just watching the replay.
Correct. Yeah, he ran 33.63 for his final 600. His splits from the 4 to the 2 and the 2 to the finish line were outstanding, as you'd expect. So, look, he's a very, very exciting horse. He's unbeaten, and it would take a brave person to oppose him on the weekend.
The market suggests he's a Phoenix is the danger, but I think you might go a different way to...
Who, you or me?
You. Yourself, Digby Beecham.
That is I.
Yeah. You've got a love child in the race.
I have a love child in the race, and it's Delta Sun.
Can he win?
Absolutely he can win. Yes, he can. He's my second choice. I haven't got the courage at this stage. That might change. To put him on top. He only won a midweek the other day and he beat the older horses. But he jogged in, dead set jogged in, and what he did do, he was able to sit handy to the speed. Now, that was over the 1,200 metres. This is 14. He's come up with a nice gate. If he can, because early doors in his career, it was like, oh, geez, he's sort of that get-back slashing sprinter. Hopefully in time he'll run 14, 16. But now what we're seeing from him is, I think he's learning what it's all about. And the other day, I liked the fact that he was ridden like the best horse in the race. Like he said, no, we're sitting handy to the speed here, and you can go about your business that way. And he decimated his opposition. He's got a good race in him, this horse. He's a really good horse.
Yep. Not sure if he's a Phoenix is going to be best ridden out in front, but probably you'd think the way this race looks, he's probably going to find himself in front again, isn't he?
You would think so, yeah.
It doesn't look like there's a heap of tempo.
No, I would think he's your likely leader. Yep. He's your likely leader. The form lines here with this horse, he's 2 for 2.
I think it's similar with Rockfest. Similar sort of basket. They both look good in what they've done thus far, and of course Rockfest absolutely annihilated them on debut, winning by 5.5 lengths, but just the forming behind them hasn't sort of made those form lines jump off the page, but obviously that was their first preparation, so they can make a natural, really big jump.
And they were on genuine rain-affected ground. Yes, and we've seen him trial on good tracks, and he's been okay. So he hasn't hit a good track on race day yet, so he might be considerably better. I think he's going to be a horse who's going to look... He's an each-way play in this. If you feel...
Who's this?
We're talking Rockfest.
Okay, yep.
But he's a 16, 1800.
Yeah,
like he screams Derby.
Yep.
So, and the fact that he's starting at 1400 would suggest... the stable's got a good handle on their team, clearly, but I think they would look at that and go, well, it's pointless running him at 1,200 in a Belgrave. He wouldn't be able to see which way they went.
So from that draw, you're thinking they just go back and hit the line?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's a Phoenix, might be able to steal the race, and there doesn't look to be a lot of tempo. He's going to get every possible chance at 14.
Yes, he will. I think Country God will come across.
Yep.
I think Country God's another speed reference here. I'm not saying he can win the race, but I think he's a speed reference.
Yeah, yep. I had a small bet on him in the Belgravia for the run he got. I think he comes on from that. Whether or not 1,400 metres, though, is his absolute perfect trip. That's probably my query on Country God. I'd like to see him at 1,200. He might drop back to the 1,200 of the Placid Arc a little bit later on. All right, that's the Faritha, both with King of Light.
Yeah, at this stage, King of Light, but I'll... Yeah. Well, I'll be... Well, I learnt my lesson. I should have had him on top the other day. I loved his trials, but I went the filly, got that wrong, so once bitten, twice shy.
Oh, well, it's taken us 50 years to try and learn a few lessons, so why not keep going? Listia Stakes, $2.90 equal favourites, Western Empire and Super Smink. I think they've both drawn gates that they probably would have been last on the pecking order of gates they would have liked.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
$8.50 Magnificent Andy, $9.50 Comfort Me, $9.50 Yonga Lass, Bustler at $19, $20 and up the remainder. We've got Hemlock Stone, Admiration Express, Let's Gallivant, Ginger Baker and In Good Order.
Well, it's fair to say that Comfort Me is your leader here. We weren't sure maybe, what the speed references were going to be in the Farith. I think we settled on He's a Phoenix Fresh, but Comfort Me was good in the Eurythmic. He'll assume his position at the head of the field in this race. Now he needs to do it at weight for age, so that's somewhat of a concern. But his return the other day was very, very sound, as was in a different race, the mare, Super Smink. Terrific late. Just got out of a ground, too far out of a ground over the 1200 and rattled home to run third. So you'd think 1400 is going to be more to her liking. Question is, 3 back the fence, best case scenario? Best case scenario, unless she's ridden a little bit upside down. And is that the spot that you want to tip in to her at that quote?
Probably not.
What about the one? Western Empire. This horse is trialled, he's ready to go to a new level, which sounds ridiculous given what we've seen from him thus far, and he is now an 8-year-old, but his trials have been super.
Yeah, yep. He'd be the way I'd go. Some of his runs and some of his figures last preparation were unreal. You've mentioned his trials, awesome. And we've seen a little bit of a pattern there at Ascot to start the season, that those wide draws and swooping around the field, staying out of trouble and giving your horse momentum and every possible chance, that seems to be the recipe.
Yeah, you might be right. So
if he's able to get a 3 wide with cover, he's at the back of the field, fresh, shows that turn of foot, he's going to be awfully hard to beat.
Oh, very much so. So what does William do? William, I don't think William's going to dig him out and put him all over the speed, but I think he'd probably like to be in front of 1 or 2 others.
Yeah,
so you're not 11th of 11.
I was sort of thinking back to his win in the Gold Rush. I think that'd be perfect. He's out in the clear. He's come around the home corner when the sprint goes on. He just blends in. He's clearly at this stage the best horse in the race.
Yeah,
he's got saddlecloth number 1.
And
he's
suited under these conditions. He'll run well. He'll get better. It's been over a month since we've seen him in that trial, but I'm sure he's been kept up to the mark by Grant and Alana, no question there. But he's just a mighty animal. He's one of the best horses in this state still, and the fact that he's been able to be rejuvenated by Grant and Alana is a credit to them. They've got a really good handle on this horse, that we know. Watch for him to be hitting the line really powerfully.
Yep, I'd be with Western Empire having something there around that $3 mark, and then I'll be saving on Comfort Me just because we spoke about the map there. He's probably going to get a nice easy lead again, and if he's able to sneak away on the corner or something, kick away, you're not going to have too much on, and you don't want to be beaten by what you know. Those horses out in front, gets a good run. Magnificent Andy, are we expecting maybe an improved performance? He wasn't bad second up, but absolutely not. But maybe it was just so up to the mark first up for that Golden Saddle that he came off a peg second up, and he'll be building again to the big features over the 16 and 1800.
Sounds harsh when you're beaten 2 lengths behind Diamond Scene, but I thought he was perhaps a little bit disappointing in the Eurythmic. I think he's suited again. Weight for age here, so there's no knock, but I thought he might have been capable of running a little bit better than what he did second up.
Yeah, yep. Maybe a little bit more forgiving just based off that travel to Kalgoorlie, and maybe everything was sort of pointed between that really big first up effort. Anything else at bigger odds that you can make a case for?
I expect Admiration Express will come on. I think the market's going to focus on 2 horses here, and they're going to stifle the betting, and that's Super Smink and Western Empire. That's not a knock on Magnificent Andy, no, by any stretch, but Western Empire and Super Smink are going to be really popular here.
Yep. So at this stage, Super Smink on top?
For me, yes.
Yep. Okay. Western Empire.
And Western Empire's second.
Yep. Race number 9, the Lucky Grey Stakes, the build-up to the Perth Cup, 1,800 metres, $2.35 Captain Pluto, Red Sun Sensation at 6, Memory Parade at 7, Filthy Habits at $9, Sensational at $9.50, double figures the remainder, headed by Buckets Ridge at $16. Also in the field we have Rush Into the Bar, Fear the Wind, Iowa, Curramundi, Be Optimistic, Playhouse Patron, Candlelight Summer and Blazing Away.
Yeah.
Hard to miss what Captain Pluto did in the Northern Cup.
Correct, and he gets to 1,800, so he's now starting to get into a distance range where he is really effective. The question you have to ask here is, where does he settle? Because he was too far out of his ground the other day in the Northern Cup. Now, he drew high and he was obliged to settle rearward, but he just was left to do too much. And Red Sun Sensation was able to get away with some pretty even fractions and then give a kick, and he was just out of reach. So from barrier 4 on Saturday, expect Captain Pluto to be 2 or 3 pairs closer. Mm-hmm. And the manner in which he attacked the line over a mile would suggest 1,800 closer to the likely leader, or certainly an on-speed influence in Red Sun Sensation would suggest that Captain Pluto is going to be awfully hard to beat.
Yeah, anything, but I'm keen to back Captain Pluto there on Saturday. 1,800 metres, last preparation, third up. He ran his peak rating performance, winning a Bunbury Cup over the 2,000 metres. Third up looks absolutely perfect for him. Gets a weight swing on Red Sun Sensation, and as you mentioned, he gets a little bit a map advantage in the fact that he's not going to be giving him such a head start. So I think anywhere around that sort of 230, 250 mark, I think looks to be, now I haven't been through every race, but looks to be one of the better bets on the program. I think the horse is going really well.
Yeah.
He's always flashed like sort of Perth Cup potential. He's just, a lot of his manners have let him down in his racing career, but he seems to be on the right track at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with that. So he's what price was he, TC, did you say?
235.
235, yeah. And Red Sun Sensation has come back in excellent order. He ran second, first up over 1,400. It wasn't a fast run, 1,400, but it was a good effort. He had a nice build into that race on that occasion. Then he went to the top the other day. I'd expect that Patrick will be nice and positive again on the weekend. And 1,800 low draw, find the top, go through your gears, rate the horse well. He'll be there, late in this race as well. He's probably a no-brainer as an each-way play in this race. The horse has come back in good order.
Yep, opened at $4.80, Red Sun Sensation out to $6. Memory Parade opened at $10 into $7. No luck whatsoever. Last week in the Asian Bow that was. 3 wide, no cover. Gets to 1,800 metres, fourth up this preparation. Doesn't win out of 2.
No,
and that's
it'd be a leap of faith for me if you were to get into Memory Parade.
Yep, and then outside of that, can you make a case for Filthy Habits probably later on in the campaign? He's up to this sort of level, but as we spoke to Lucy on yesterday, just takes a couple of runs to absolutely find his best. Filthy Habits.
I wouldn't fall off my chair if Sensational ran particularly well. If we're thinking that the Northern Cup form lines are what we're playing with here, that was a decent enough effort the other day. No knock there. The start prior was beaten a long way behind Cosmic Crusader, but was still second to Cosmic Crusader. And Cosmic Crusader was all the rage, went around $1.40 last Saturday. Now, things didn't go according to plan, clearly. But Captain Pluto, he's the one here. Has to be the one.
Yeah. Good days of racing out there at Ascot, and we're leading up to the Pinnacles. We're not too far away from that carnival officially getting underway. So that's a look at the features there with Tap Touch. All those markets are up. We'll touch on them in a little bit more detail with Brad McManus later on in the show at about 8:45. Have your say on the Retrovision text line 0427 789 571. That's also the number to note down to text in your tips to take on Diggers today. Race 7, number 2, Strapping Profit to his best today at Northam. Your chance to go into the draw for a $100 Tab Touch voucher, which will be drawn on Friday. We'll head out to the roads. We'll take a look at Sydney and Melbourne racing for Saturday with Nick Ashman and Jules Vallance on the other side.
Make Tab Radio your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
All right, Taylor Cortland and Digby Beecham with you on the Sports Daily this morning, this Thursday morning. Flemington today, Oaks Day, of course. We'll hopefully bring you some form analysis somewhere of that after 8 o'clock. Doug, he's texting, first-time texter. A bit late to the program, Doug. Any idea when a Perth Cup futures market will be available? Brad McManus, I think we asked him that last week or the week before.
We did.
Nominations early December, I believe. So after that.
The question that Doug is asking there is, on the back, I dare say, of the fact that some news out of the East Coast, that One Smooth Operator, the Moonee Valley Gold Cup winner and Melbourne Cup runner, is likely to be headed west to run in the Perth Cup. So it would be a very welcome addition to our famous 2,400 metre race.
So purchased by Fitzsimmons. I still haven't found out who's training the horse as well.
Well, that's the next question, isn't it? Who's the horse going to be in care of? Have they been here previously? Have they travelled horses? I dare say they have if they're getting a horse of this nature. But, yeah, One Smooth Operator likely to be running in the Group 2 Perth Cup.
Out of quarantine today, the interview on East Coast Radio said, and then sort of goes to the paddock for 10 days, spells a little bit, then comes back for a Perth Cup over 2,400 metres.
Question without notice. You know I love these.
Yeah, this would be who's the favourite for the Perth Cup?
No, question without notice. 8-year-old gelding. He's won a Moonee Valley Gold Cup.
Yep.
He's just running a Perth Cup. I mean, he's running a Melbourne Cup. We'll run in a Perth Cup. What would you pay for him?
Oh, gee whiz.
If he's got, what has he got, another year?
Is he coming for a Perth Cup, which is $1 million? So what the winner get for?
580, 600, something like that? You wouldn't be paying that much for him, would you? This stage of his career?
That much, you'd be 500, I was thinking.
500,000 for him.
Thinking, yeah. Well, he'll go to
he can't run in the autumn in Sydney.
I was going to say he's going to the Sydney Cup here. No, he won't go. He need to snorkel.
He'd get bogged.
Yeah. Good question. So I'm not sure. Well, I don't know. He's in the Australian Couples 2000. Is that too sharp for him? Not too sure. Maybe the Australian way of training.
Yeah, put a bit of speed back into his legs. I'm not saying he hasn't got it. But he's a good tracker, isn't he? Like an Australian Cup might be perfect for him. You know, that Flemington and the like.
Does the All-Star Mile still go?
Yeah. Not sure.
That'll probably be at Flemington as well this year, would it? This season?
Or this season, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. If you're if you're selling him, you obviously have got a good deal for the existing connections.
It was the Moonee Valley Gold Cup was
25?
2,500.
25, I think. Well, that's what it normally is, isn't it? 25. 2,500 metres, the Moonee Valley Gold Cup on a good 3. That was a $760,000 race. So he won $460,000 for winning that race. He's won. What's he won? This is the thing. He won $460,000 there. His total prize money $1.5 million. So he's won 25%, more than 25% of his career earnings by winning the Moonee Valley Gold Cup. These European stayers not running for big money over there.
How many starts has he had?
He has had 47 starts, 6 wins, 17 placings.
7 starts. And Lindemann had 4 starts in the Sydney in the spring and he won almost $2 million.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly right. So, anyway, he'd be a headline act over here.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we'll catch up very, very shortly with Nick Ashman and Jules Vallance to take a look to Saturday racing. And Mark from Vic Park, I don't know a lot about Test cricket, but he's given his starting batting lineup anyway. Weatherall opens, McManus at 3, Smith, Head and Webster.
So no Green.
Cam Green misses out.
Well, Cam Green will play in the first test. So the Australian selectors are wedded to him if he's fit.
It's not WA.
I would think. But it's I think if Cameron Green gets through, well, he's going to bowl next week, but if he emerges unscathed, he'll play in the first test.
No name on this text message, but do you know if England are playing warm-up matches before the Ashes?
Not sure. Whether they play a game here against WA. You'd like to think that they have...
Field out near Guildford, isn't there a game on there? Is that not England?
Like out Lilac Hill?
Yeah. Did I hear that? Or did I just make that up?
You might be right. Don't know. Certainly in years gone by they have, but that's a long time ago now. But you'd think that they'd have some sort of a hit out here, with the red ball. Because they've played a lot of white ball cricket of late and have made their way here. What are we at? 21. So it's a fortnight tomorrow. No. Yeah, fortnight tomorrow. First test. West test.
Yep.
2021.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cannot wait. Bring it on. Can't wait for that. It's going to be...
Early next week, okay, the Sheffield Shield kicks off on Monday. So
yep.
there'd be a second WA side that they could play or...
Yeah, something.
a game somewhere they could play against someone, some Premier League cricket or something like that. All right, switching our attention back to racing, Rosehill on Saturday, the 5 Diamonds, and we're at halfway point of the week. Of course, Panova kicked off the week very nicely, and I'm sure this man was pretty happy with that result. Nick Ashman joins us from thebeatenfavourite.com.au. Nick, a very good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, it was great to see her win Derby Day race 1 last Saturday. Was morning, I think.
Yeah, it was.
It certainly got me up and about. She's a very promising filly. I think you'll see her in Group 1 races in the autumn, maybe the Surround Stakes for Chris, maybe even a Coolmore, something similar to Lady Shenandoah. Although I suspect in time she might make more of a sort of mile, 2,000 metre horse, whereas Shenandoah is probably more of a sprinter miler.
How did you come away from not only last Saturday but also Tuesday?
Yeah, look, I mean, I got on here a couple of weeks ago and was half, potting our service, but we've had an absolute fill-up in the last couple of weeks, guys, so it's been very, very good. Last Saturday, I think all 3 tips, Panova, She's Alibi and Centaurus all won at Flemington, and then we had the Cups double back in September after Half Yours won the Naturalism. We took him at $67 to do the Cups double, so that came off on Tuesday as well. It was just a very, very good day. So we're miles in front of the legend now, I'm told, although Sean hasn't given me the official update. We're miles in front, so we'll finish the year in profit again. And I've got to say, it was looking murky for a while there. So very, very good. Unfortunately, on Tuesday night, I got a little too excited and, tied one on, and I was in all sorts of pain yesterday.
You bounced back, though?
Well, not as well as I used to, but it's Look, I'm feeling a lot better today, so I'm back in the office today after a little bit of a mini let up there yesterday, watching the Clayton Cup on the couch.
Fair enough. All right, what do we need to focus on the weekend?
Yeah. Rose Hill, where's that?
Rose Hill, what's that?
We race at Randwick all the time, don't we?
Yeah, I know. Well, they're doing their best anyway, but we'll see what the future for Rose Hill holds. Look, it's interesting. There's potentially some rain on race day. I don't know if it's going to be a real lot. Just keep an eye out on the irrigation that they decide to put on. They've really got the watering of these tracks right in the last sort of couple of months. So I was pretty critical of them for a while there, and I don't know what's happened, but they seem to be getting it right at the ATC. And if they get the irrigation right, the track should play just a bit off the rail. So you probably want to be in lanes 3, 4 and beyond. The danger is that they don't irrigate and we don't get the rain on race day, and it ends up pretty hard deck, in which case you're going to want to be forward of midfield. So just keep an eye on that. But let's do our best. Let's assume they get it 100% right, which I think they will. It's going to play a little bit off rail. We'll go to the 5 Diamonds, the feature race. Now, Transatlantic's Airborne done absolutely nothing wrong. Won the 2-rack, won the 5 Diamonds prelude, and is a deserved favourite for the race. But he's got his work cut out for him. He's got to come across from an outside gate. He's got a bit of speed drawn underneath him, most notably Rise at Dawn. And I just felt that, I can't believe I'm even tipping this horse, and you guys are going to laugh, but Militarised showed something last start, finally. His run before that was actually okay. I think if you go and watch a replay of the Hill Stakes behind Lindemann, he probably should have finished at least a length closer. And before that, he was, taking on Pericles, Private Eye, Fangirl, etc. I just think what we saw last time, when I look at the figures that Lindemann's been producing this campaign, I reckon he would have been competitive in a Cox Plate, Lindemann. But they took the smart option with being a gelding. They just beat up the second-tier horses for a lot of prize money in the Hill Stakes and that. And I just think Militarised, maybe this is finally when he can step up and be counted. So I'm pretty sure Joe Maria has ridden this horse on 4 occasions, and he's won them 3 times. The last time he rode him was in 2023, the Caulfield Guineas. It wasn't one of Joe's best rides, but he rode him that day. And before that, that's me being diplomatic because I've got on the sauce on Tuesday night. I just don't have it in me to stick it to someone. But let's be honest, it was I can't use the word I want to use, but it was a terrible ride. But his rides before that on this horse are unreal, including the Golden Rose. So he's got a good affinity with his horse. He jumps back in the saddle. Around that $8 mark, I'd be having something each way on Militarised, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Then on to race 9, and this is a horse who's unbeaten, a filly down the bottom called Taxation for Joe Pride. He's doing a good job with these Godolphin horses, Joe. He's really sort of taking his opportunities. He got Attica, the first colt ever for Joe Pride to win a Group 1. Can you believe it? I mean, he's an outstanding trainer. He's never had a Group 1 winning colt in his stable. He prides himself on probably older stock and sprinters, particularly those older geldings. That's what he loves, everything from Rain Affair to Terra Vista. That's his wheelhouse, those older geldings. And here he is a couple of weeks ago winning a spring champion with a colt, and now he's got this filly called Taxation, 2 from 2. She's done it on the dry, she's done it on the heavy. She's got plenty of upside about her, and I just think she sneaks into this race with a chance to make it 3 from 3, and she might be destined for bigger and better things, guys. She looks like she could be one out of the box.
All right, that's race 9, number 11, Taxation at $4.40 with Tab Touch. Race 8, number 7, Militarise at $8.50 with Tab Touch. Hopefully, Joe, after the Melbourne Cup, his arms aren't too sore after what happened with Land Legend there. Anything else, Nick?
Not really. Look, obviously, all roads go down to Flemington really on Saturday. That's where most of it goes on. I don't know if you're talking to Julesy or not, but she's a hustler in, I think, race 4 down there, the Matriarch?
Yep.
We're both pretty keen on him. If you are going to talk to him, I'll let him wax lyrical, but she looks like she's one on the way through. The rest of the day down there, he's got to be a bit cautious because there's that southerly wind which can really assist front runners in those circle races, 1,400 metres a mile. Yeah, all right. What? Just while we're on it, have you done your ratings for Tantaurus and what he did in the Coolmore? Yeah, he was awesome, guys. He's outstanding. As I sort of said, I think he'll prove himself to be the best sprinter in the country, I think, in the next 12 months. So just on Saturday, it's a little bit messy for him. He probably gets a wet track for the first time. We don't know how he handles it. Certainly not going to pot him, but just a bit of an unknown. And he's going to have that southerly breeze because he's drawn soft. Usually when the southerly breeze is pretty strong, you want those mid to wide draws because it blows across the track from left to right, and it just blows into the side of horses down towards the inside. And that's where he's going to be. So I was just talking to Jules before, I'm going to probably back him, but I'm going to wait because I reckon if the pros sort of see what's going on with that wind and they do all their algorithms, they'll spit him out as probably a $3.50, $3.70 chance we might get on him, and he could just be a good thing in the race. I think he's that good. All right, fingers crossed we're following Tantaurus and the rain keeps him at the races. Thanks, Nick. We'll chat very shortly. Talk next week, boys. All the best. Absolutely. There's Nick Ashman trying to get through the week there at Flemington Rosehill. Finally back at Rosehill after quite some time. So we'll take a look at this meeting a little bit more in depth with Jules Vallance with Foxcatcher as well. Touched on a little bit earlier, that sprint is a cracking race. It's a cracker. A mile, even better, I dare say. Then the Champion Stakes, of course, we get to see at the moment probably the best horse in Australia. Be a Sustina go around, but she should be winning that, you'd think.
Yes, and she's a very, very short quote. If there's one race which is probably going to fall away, it's the Champion Stakes with all the, those distance horses and Cox Plate and the like, isn't it? So she gets a very, very suitable assignment to go bang.
Yeah.
Would that be fair? This is completely different to what she raced the other day. Was it a vintage Cox Plate? No, but Tom Kitten, there's a few in there that would have gone around at a pretty big quote in a Cox Plate. Would that be fair?
We spoke.
That's why she's odds on.
Absolutely. We spoke to Glenn Ingram yesterday, got his tips for Flemington today. His best was race 5, number 10 in Zudo, was around the $4.60 mark yesterday. And in the Oaks, he liked one at value. Classic Gem does need a little bit of pressure on in the race over the 2,500 metres, but around that $23 mark, a little bit of value for Classic Gem. He had a roughie for us, but that scratch, so makes it difficult to win. You can head back to our X and Twitter page to catch up with his quaddie if you are looking to do so there at Flemington today. All right, Jules Vallance from Foxcatcher joins us to take a look at this cracking Champions Day there at Flemington Saturday. Jules, a very good morning to you.
G'day, guys. How are we?
Very well, Jules. Great to have a chat to you. Oaks Day today. We might just touch on that in a second, but as TC mentioned, what a wonderful Saturday we have upcoming.
Yeah, brilliant. They've really done well with this day, to be honest. They've sort of pushed it to get these 3 Group 1s all together on the same day, and it's, probably outside of the stakes. I mean, I think it lacks depth outside of, obviously, the champion mare, Via Sustina, but the sprint is outstanding, and I think the Champions Mile is just an absolute belter of a race.
Can we start there then, the Champions Mile, please, Jules?
Let's. It's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, I sort of thought she would struggle when I talk of Pride of Jenny, when I say she. Coming back from Sydney, I just didn't know where she'd be. Well, she put that to bed in the Empire Rose, and I know a lot of people have been sort of critical of the other riders and, allowing her to do what she did. But when she gets into this type of zone, she's untouchable. And like, I can be very open with everyone that I sort of gave tactics to the connections of Ideal Flyer, and we rode her we knew exactly that that's what Pride of Jenny was going to do in the Empire Rose, and we tried to be aggressive and go with her as much as we could, but we couldn't. And she ended up running last Ideal Flyer, and she, still was 7 or 8 lengths off, but we tried to be the one that was going to be right on her backside, and we just couldn't go there. Now, whether the horse, had enough or not. But when she gets into this zone, there's a southerly wind on Saturday as well. This is exactly what happened 2 years ago when she hit the double on that occasion. It just sets up so well for her that it could be deja vu all over again, Yogi Berra style.
All right, so are we backing Pride of Jenny then?
Well, you have to make the decision whether you think it's a boom or bust with her. I mean, the conditions are just ideal for her to be able to do what she wants. And it's just whether you think a horse can get within 3 or 4 lengths of her. Who's going to be that horse? Is it going to be Mr. Brightside from that gate? Or is it going to be a Lake Forest maybe who they ride a little bit more aggressive? I can't see anything else. I mean, Treasure the Moment, might just want to probably just take it easy, I would have thought. She's had an arduous campaign. I don't think they really want to bust her. I know this is their last run, so they're happy to probably, put it all out on the table. But I think if you're having a bet, for me, it'd have to be with Pride of Jenny. I'm not super confident on it, but it just sets up so well, especially with this southerly wind.
Okay, so that's Pride of Jenny in the mile. What about this Champions Sprint? We get to see the colt at this stage, Tentaris, go around off the back of what was a devastating win in the Coolmore Stud Stakes.
Beautifully put. It was devastating, wasn't it? And it was just third up, peak, massive, 7 days, love it. Soft track, we don't know. I mean, not to saying that he can't get through it, not saying he will get through it, and that's if all the rain does end up developing as they sort of expect. He's the one to beat. I want to be with him. I've marked him $2.25, so I'm happy to take the price that is on offer right now. I think the track becomes a little bit soft. I think Jolly Star, we know that he doesn't really like it. Giga Kick was really good at Caulfield first up, outstanding, but he's got to repeat that. Yeah, I just want to be with the 3-year-old here. Not many 3-year-olds have done the quick 7-day backup. Bellatrix Star did it last year. She ran second in the Coolmore and then failed in the Spring Champion. And then a horse probably 4 or 5 years ago called Ranch Hand ran 4th in the Coolmore Stud Stakes and then ran 5th on the Champion. But nothing's been as good as what Tentaris has done, and I want to be with this horse.
All right, we spoke about him v Baywalk last week, and you do we trust that rating that Baywalk ran in the Golden Rose? What makes you a little bit more confident that Tentaris can maintain this sort of level?
7-day backup, the key is just brilliant. They can just sort of just leave him, untouch him, and I expect he just stalks the speed and does it again. Different setup as well, from Rose Hill, 1,400 metres, Golden Rose, to a Flemington Straight, 1,200 metres. So there was always some slight issues there, but you get the same scenario here against some older horses who might not be at the top of their game, and this horse did it 7 days ago, so trust the camp as well. They are just elite, and I trust the bloke on top. I do trust the bloke on top, but he's not the bloke that has been going airborne, Mark Zara. But you don't lose too much with Craig Williams. They do it differently, but they're both outstanding jobs.
That they are. Is there another race or two there on the card on Saturday that has you excited?
Matriarch. I'm really keen on seeing She's a Hustler. This horse has only had 2 starts in this prep and started first up 1,800 metres, rated through the roof with me at Flemington. Then went to Moonee Valley, and the race shape, it's that outside See What I See, which you'll see again on Saturday, meets at 6 kilograms worse. But the race shape was really ugly, and they went around it, and it just was an amazing effort to win that race. I thought She's a Hustler. And then you go back and watch the replay and go back and watch it 100 metres past the post and 50 metres past the post, and it's just still going as good as anything. I'm really excited for this horse in the future, especially next spring. I think he'll do some damage in some really good races. So she's a hustler, best of the day by far for me.
All right, beautiful. Turtle at 60 with Tab Touch. How about today? Have you played already?
Sure have. Pretty keen in the first chorus, and I think people will say, disappointing last start. Yeah, probably agree with that. It was really well backed at Geelong on that day where they sort of held the races over the next day due to the terrible wind. But it was 29 days between runs, and I think it just needed that one, and it just couldn't reel in the lead. I've got that race going really well. They sent it straight to the jump outs after it. You watch the jump out, and it was a really aggressive jump out. They ran really good time in that. This horse has been, no doubt, set for this race. The map's a little bit tricky, but I think trust Jamie Mott. I want to be with first chorus in the first race. Since he'll run a really good race for us.
All right, $4 with Tab Touch. And just before we let you go, Jules, is the favourite pretty hard to beat in the Oaks?
He is. Yeah, well, she is, sorry. Yeah, $1.80. I don't know if I want to take $1.80, but marked her $2 and, sort of got a bit of a lick at her early in the spring when she knocked off Just a Journey. So to win the Oaks, I sort of got the double at around 200 to 1. So if she can win this, it's a good result for me. So I'll be cheering for her, but I wouldn't take the $1.80 for the punters out there right now.
All right, fingers crossed that comes off. Enjoy the day. Enjoy Saturday. Thanks, Jules.
Thanks, boys. Good on you.
There's Jules Vallance from Foxcatcher. Follow them on Instagram and all the social media stuff that you're up with, Diggers.
Yes, yes, indeed. But he's very bullish about the colt, isn't he? Tentyrus, yes. Really bullish. Marking 225. He's around that 260, 270 mark. So
you can understand that?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Just a little bit of weather watch.
Very much so.
So
yeah.
Jules has marked it short. Nick thought he might drift with some of the conditions there, so I think we just sit on our hands.
He's a street boss, isn't he?
Yep.
You think he'd handle a bit of weather, but why take a risk with a colt? He's already worth north of 20.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we'll wait and see. Hopefully it's not too rain affected there on the weekend, albeit the bleak weather forecast would suggest we're going to be racing in Melbourne on a rain-affected track.
Yeah, well, he goes out for a spell. Worst case scenario, he comes back third up, hits a TJ, and then that's probably him done.
Could well be. Then he's in the barn.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we'll take a quick break here on the Sports Daily. Back after this.
Make Tab Radio your station of choice each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
No, Diggers, he's not related to Sam Naismith.
Oh, Sam Naismith.
Got caught at Bulldog Straight.
Yeah, I blame him and Jeff Valentine. Those two
Jeff.
boys. Yeah, he had two naughty lads.
Big tune in. Jeff's wife will have a runner in the railway.
Yeah.
Storyville.
Absolutely. I think she's going okay. I thought she had a little bit to give.
Well, the first time run was very good.
Yeah, I agree. And I still think she had a bit to give on the weekend. Just gone.
Don't get him too excited.
No.
Place yourself.
Yeah, I think they've sort of had to reprogram her a bit to get her to just chill a bit, but I think she's building. She's building nicely.
After Watch Me Rocks win, post-race, I think Grant indicated she might go to the Peters.
Okay.
And then the week back up into the railway.
Okay, interesting.
Keep an eye on that.
Be a good Peters.
Yes.
Be a really good Peters, you would think.
Yes, absolutely. Story here as well, just before we're going to just play a little bit of an interview from SEN. Gareth Hall talking to David Gately, trying to get a little bit more tips. We were hoping they were going to do sometime this morning a full preview that we'd be able to play, but unfortunately haven't been able to get that. But we will play you about 10 minutes of David Gately's thoughts for racing over the next couple of days. Channel 9. So Channel 9 reported a total TV national audience of 2.079 million for the Melbourne Cup. That's the race itself, marking an 8.8% increase compared to last year. That's a big jump.
So all the indicators would suggest, just reiterating what we've been saying, not us, but everyone's saying about racing, just the appetite for it at the moment, either on track or through the TV, radio, whatever, it's high, isn't it?
Yep, so that figure combines free-to-air viewers on the 9 network and live streams on 9 Now, which delivered a 24.8% year-on-year rise, the streaming service. And then, so just through the roof. Crowd of 84,000 on track.
170. What will they get today? We were thinking a dip, but
40.
Is that all?
I think so.
I hope they get a big crowd because Saturday I know Fisher's there and it's a great day's racing, but if you're getting horrible conditions, it surely has to impact how many people come through the turnstiles.
Yeah, it has to.
You know, and that would be disappointing. It would be disappointing because it's a day befitting a big crowd. You know, you've got the world's best, Australia's best horse, reigning horse of the year, Via Sistina, going around chasing yet another Group 1, which is frightening. She's just stacking them up alongside each other, and you've got a brilliant sprint, potentially with a really high-class colt, and, you know, the people's horse in Pride of Jenny going around in the mile. Yeah. So it's a day which should get a massive crowd, and hopefully the weather doesn't conspire to ruin the attendance figure. Yeah,
well, hopefully the forecast is wrong or it blows over. We're expecting a little bit more on Tuesday probably, and we didn't really get as much rain on Tuesday as what was forecast, so hopefully that's the case once again. All right.
Make Tab Radio your station of choice each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
Okay, there's a little bit of extra information over the next couple of days at Flemington for you to dissect and hopefully find a couple of winners, courtesy of SEN there. Gareth Hall and David Gately. You're back on the Sports Daily now with Taylor Cortland and Digby Beecham. We'll get to your text messages after we check on the roads. 0427 789 571, the number to get involved. Plenty coming in through on the cricket and also the racing. We've taken a look at the Listeer, at the Faritha, and then also the Lucky Grey there at Ascot on Saturday. You can head back to the podcast to catch all that, tabradio.com.au, or if you like to listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can search the Sports Daily.
That you can.
News courtesy of the East Coast this morning as well. One smooth operator is going to be aimed at a Perth Cup.
What price will he go around on a Perth Cup?
Oh,
seriously?
Not sure. Don't know.
Maybe single figures, wouldn't he?
Yes. Depends who gets there.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, there's a lot of water to go under the bridge. But if he gets here well, gets a good track, which he loves, if he gets... The expectation from connections is that around the 58 kilo mark.
Yeah. I suppose that's judging off Hemlock Stone going there, Diamond Scene going there. Those horses don't end up in the field. What that does to the weight scale, I'm not too sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, he'd be a welcome addition, that's for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Adds a little bit of star power.
Get to see some of those horses in the Lucky Grey there at Ascot's race number 9 Saturday. They'll be heading that way. A Red Sun Sensation, you'd think. Captain Pluto. Filthy Habits will be going to a Cup. Buckets Ridge.
Yep.
Iowa.
Yes.
So, outside of Diamond Scene, you'd think at the moment, and Diamond Scene would have to do it with significantly more weight than he has over the last couple of seasons. It's pretty open affair at the Perth Cup, you'd say at the moment. Hemlock Stone can put his hand up on Saturday.
Opportunistic will run around with 60 kilos on Sunday in the York Cup.
Yes.
So Opportunistic. Rocking Society is going that way as well. Ginger Green, Kisses from Kelly. Now Autumn Rebel, Argyle Star, Candlelight Supper, who is accepted to run on Saturday as well, going that way. It would seem Troy Turner has been named there. So Opportunistic, clearly a very talented horse. Didn't really go according to market expectations. Second up over the 1,400 metres. That was his second run at 1,400. He steps up in trip on the weekend, goes up to the 1,920 metres, and you'd think that will suit him at this stage of his preparation.
Absolutely. All right, 8:30, so we'll check in on the roads very, very shortly. We'll get out to main roads. Rowan from Doubleview. Good morning, Taylor and Digby. Apologies if it's already been discussed, but you mentioned yesterday there may have been some feedback in relation to the station's future. If so, can you share any news, or are the very many concerned listeners still left in the dark? We have no news at this stage just at the moment. We're hoping so, but I suppose all we can say is hopefully we'll be able to bring you some news tomorrow, or maybe by the drive show this afternoon, but not too sure at this stage. Sorry, Rowan, and as we've reiterated, as soon as we know, we'll pass it on to the listeners and know what's going on going forward.
Make Tab Radio your station of choice each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
All right, we'll get to Brad McManus from Tab Touch very shortly in about 10 minutes' time. Get through a couple of these text messages. Jim the Pommy Pie, he's up and about. The Barmy Army in full voice. Jim Pommy Pie right in the thick of it. It'll be an awesome start.
Yes. Barmy Army. Oh, they had a lot. They had so much.
Oh, gee whiz, he's gone off about the cricket here. Yeah, he's happy. Australia should open with Smith and McManus. They'll be in after an over anyway. After Mark Wood blitzes the stumps of the Aussie openers as Optus in the first and fourth balls.
He's quick, Mark Wood. Looking forward to seeing him.
5-0 the Poms. Calm down, Jimmy.
5-0 the Poms. Cannot wait. It's going to be great. Really good.
Gary, hi boys. Yesterday at Crown, owners and trainer plus Melbourne Cup. Go you, good thing. Well, Gary's had a good Wednesday. He's obviously Melbourne diggers.
He said at Crown.
At Crown.
Yeah.
With the owners. And
with the owners. Sorry, I didn't hear you say with the owners. It's the owner and Melbourne Cup. Gary Roberts? Is that who it is? It just says Gary.
Just says Gary.
I suspect it might be Gary Roberts. Okay. Good on him. Good on Calvin. Good on everyone for embracing the Melbourne Cup again. It was a bit on the nose, wasn't it? But it's well and truly back, which I think is fantastic for the industry in this country.
Yep, absolutely. Clearly, as we've spoken about all week, clearly still the biggest day of racing here in this country. National holiday, any danger?
Yeah, it should be. Agree.
All right, a couple of people taking you on, Diggers. Who's your best bet today at Northern?
Strapping Profit for me. Now, I need to see the price of Strapping Profit now, TC. In the last, so it is race 7, number 2. And price $3.20 now. Ishka, Ayumi and Enchanting Sound have come out. $2.50 Silent Diva for William, for Grant and Alana. Second up, that filly today. She's going to take some stacking, no doubt. But Strapping Profit for Jason and Steph. Carries the 60, barrier 2, $3.20. That's the way I've gone.
Jason from Swanview, he was talking about One Smooth Operator, and we spoke about the discussion around the horse's prize money after winning the Moonee Valley Gold Cup, and Jason makes a good point. Last time he was in Australia, the first time he was in Australia, he won a Geelong Cup too, so that would have been almost half his prize money just here in Australia.
Well, if you're winning a Geelong Cup and you're winning a Moonee Valley Gold Cup, you're going to be awfully competitive, respectfully, in a Perth Cup, aren't you? You have to be.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're a horse that loves good ground, and he does.
Yeah. This message, I'm not too sure if we can lend too much assistance, but why is Tab Touch paying out on only some before noms and not all? I backed Sir Delius on the 31st of May and I got my money back. I backed Deacon and another horse in March and May, and there is no money back.
Can't answer that question. Maybe we can put that to Brad McManus.
You ask him, Brad, please explain the difference. Not too sure on that one. And Elko, geez, I'm going to miss you guys. The local WA focus will be surely missed. Hope you all pop in somewhere else because your knowledge makes me much better on the punt. Gee, you must mishear us a fair few times, Elko.
Now, there is some news out of the East Coast. Pat Cummins is saying that his recovery from that recent injury is going particularly well, and he expects he will be available for the second test. So Pat Cummins, at this stage, believes he will only miss the first test here at Optus Stadium.
Just the first test?
First test only.
Right.
So that's a big addition to that Australian lineup if Pat Cummins can come back as skipper for the second test.
Yeah, absolutely. It is how much bowling he's going to get under his belt before then. We know he ramped it up. Was that last week or the week before? Not full pace, but...
No, last week he was pictured bowling in the nets over there in New South Wales.
Off a couple of steps.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're looking to invest before we get to Flemington today, of course, there is a little bit of action going on in the NBA. The good guys are beating the Philadelphia 76ers as well, do you?
That they are. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 41-27 over the 76ers at the end of the first quarter. The Nets lead the Pacers 25-18 after the opening term. And deep into the first quarter, the Utah Jazz and Detroit Pistons are locked together at 28 apiece.
All right, so the Timberwolves and Knicks do battle. You've got about 5 minutes left to invest there. That's a big game. Anthony Edwards, I think, is making... It's close to his first appearance of the season. I think he's been cleared from hamstring injury. So he'll return to play the Knicks for the Timberwolves, $2.35, $1.60 for the Knicks. Other big games today, you've got the Spurs taking on the Lakers. The Spurs have made a really good start to the year. The Lakers have done a good job, to be fair. They haven't really had their full complement of players just yet. So they're doing a very good job. The Thunder are in action at Portland as well. Oklahoma City Thunder, $1.58 favourites there to beat the Portland Trailblazers at $2.43.
Do you like anything there? Can you throw out a play for our listeners, TC?
Well, I would have said Cleveland to beat Philly, but that's a little bit too late there. That was put it away. I think the Spurs can beat the Lakers.
Spurs can beat the Lakers?
Yeah, I know it's in LA, but playing very, very well, the Spurs.
Okay. So the Spurs at 196, LA 187. Okay.
Very jolted start of the season for the Lakers. They've had players here, they're coming back, missing another game. It's been a little bit all over the place at the moment.
That it has.
Plenty of other action there with Tab Touch as well around the place. We'll take a break and we'll come back with Brad McManus.
Make Tab Radio your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
Time again to hone in on this program there at Ascot on Saturday, and 10 races on the program as usual now for Ascot on a Saturday. The first getting underway before midday, 11:54 from Tab Touch. Joining us, Brad McManus, on a big day for Tab Radio, big day for Straight Up. Brad, good morning to you.
Hello. Is old Rossi Trombone Collect getting paid by the ad? Is he on a clear?
Yes.
You don't reckon Butchie's getting value for money out of that?
And Butchie doesn't need money or value. He's got plenty of both. He's got plenty of both up there at the Mundaring. Probably be driving up the hill shortly, I would have thought. How are you, Brad?
Very well. Always a pleasure, gentlemen. A bit of a sombre day, but we're going to start up a put your Dougals out.
Yeah. Yes. So this is the last Straight Up this afternoon.
Yeah. Some would say that should have happened 2 years ago, but we've got a bit past that, but also flattening because you guys are doing a fantastic job as usual and going to be sorely missed in the mornings.
Yeah, thank you. Kind words. Now, Brad, we've had a bit of feedback this morning. One smooth operator, the news that this Moonee Valley Gold Cup winner, and he ran in the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, is going to be headed west and will run in a Perth Cup. The connections are saying they've been given an indication, or the expectation is he would carry 58.5 kilos, 2,400 January 1 Ascot. Would it be around the head of the market with Tab Touch when you do settle down for that?
Oh, mate, to be honest, I haven't had that much of a look, but you'd have to assume so because just with all due respect to the locals, it seems the Eastern State Staters do have a touch of class, don't they? So they have to be right up there. And isn't it just so encouraging, some of these names we're hearing about possibly getting on the plane for some of these feature races? It's touch wood. It's looking like being one of the really good ones.
Yeah, agree.
Absolutely. We spoke to Clayton Douglas as well this morning. The Winterbottom's still sort of up in the air depending on what he does in the CF4 Stakes, but it sounds like he's a strong chance to come for the Gold Rush, if nothing else. Brad, we'll take a look at this Ascot program on Saturday. We might start in Racebook order so we can build up to the features. Race number 1, the 2-year-olds, the 1,100 metres, and all on red, looking for a hat-trick at the top of the market. Has there been much movement at all?
A little bit of money for the debutante Beatty off some outstanding trials. So a couple of pros pretty keen it early into $3.10 off an opening quote of $3.90. And worth mentioning Star Martini, a bit of money there. So good punting, Lockie. It's been well snipped early.
All right, so that is the 2-year-old event over the 1,100. We advance to race 2, Brad, which is a graduation mile and westbound, who was able to make a winning start to his career up there in Geraldton. Now comes to town, barrier 3. I think if he ticks this box, we could perhaps see him in a Guineas.
Yeah, I think a few might be looking that way in this race. It's nice little lineup. The market's merging with Mohegan Law. There hasn't really been much money, but $7 into $4.80 is just more of a merge going on there. Obviously some differing opinions, but Reuben Stealing, the one getting the money at the moment, a couple of pros in $6 into $4.20.
All right, no love my authority?
Not yet, but I'm picking up what you're putting down, TC.
All right, race number 3, 2,200 metres. That's all I needed to hear. $2.30, First Encounter, the favourite. This is the Apprentices Cup, and First Encounter getting out to a trip now.
Yeah. They always intriguing affairs, these apprentice races. The money early each way, Royal Law, and a bit of money the fave First Encounter, who probably should be winning this, but it's starting to build a little bit of a reputation.
Looking forward to seeing how the apprentices go there on this Saturday. Big day for them. Now, what about this Westmead Platinum Series heat over the 1,200 metres? This is a very, very even affair, it would seem, Brad.
Yeah, one of the better goes of the day here for bar time. Few people will be uttering those words. I would have thought $9 into $6 bar time, well supported. A bit of money hammer mill as well as it's on the drift as the markets merge off a phenomenal trial. And up the top, Hymns of Eladir being well supported each way.
All right, that's race number 4. Race number 5 and 1,200 metres, 60 plus. Nicky Armour made an impression last time out. It's currently sitting there as favourite at 235. What's going on with this market, Brad?
All the money up the top each way for Kenny Rock, 21 into 14. A couple of players really keen on it off a really nice last-up performance. Shooting Spirit getting snipped away at as well. Nicky Armour still expected to start a pretty warm favourite in a fair share of multis.
Yeah, 14 back to 12, but boy, oh boy, he was impressive the other day, Nicky Armour. Now, what about this race 6? Good one, this, Brad, the 78-12. We've got some high-class horses here. You'd think they'll burn Norwich, Son of the Boss. Sky Duke's a fast horse. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, great little setup, this one. And, punters sitting on their hands at this stage. Not a lot of activity to speak of, and you can sort of see why. There's a number of different ways you could attack this one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, race number 7, kick off the features, a trio of which Faretha, 205, King of Light, impressive first up. What's the market done early here?
Yeah, if a race like this doesn't get you up and about, there is no pleasing you. For sure, it's a great little setup. And King of Light's getting its share of support. Punters keen to be on board this horse, I think maybe all the way through the carnival by the look of things. The 210 out to 215 into 205 in plenty of singles, in plenty of multis, so very well supported. Plenty of horses getting their share of each way support, like your Rockfest, your Country God, and also worth noting a bit of support there for He's a Phoenix. Not quite text message money digs, but text message adjacent.
Okay, so that is a sort of a three-quarter brother to text message money, the support for He's a Phoenix. Now, Brad, has King of Light been popular with Tab Touch in all-in markets for the features, be it a Guineas or even the 1,800 metre Group 1?
Yeah, the I think $4.50 early doors for the Guineas is long gone now, into I think maybe $2.80 or $3 around there, as much as just a bit of a market trim up. There's also plenty of support. No doubt punters saw what they needed to see first up over the unsuitable 1,200 and are pretty keen to be on board. Also a good trim up for the Northerly. It's been a lot of money. It's got to be respected, and it just looks the right horse for that sort of campaign, doesn't it?
Yep, absolutely. Race number 8 on the program, the Lastia, 1,400 metres, weight for age Group 2. Currently equal favourites, 290 each of 2, Western Empire and Super Smink. Which way is the early money going?
The early sharp money was for Western Empire. This market's still sorting itself out. The momentum's starting to build now for Super Smink. They are pretty much the two. There's been a little bit of money out wide for a couple of roughies, but they're really pairing off in the market.
Do you have a leaning, Brad, yourself?
I'm just on the setup maybe for Super Smink from 3 back the rails to burst through, but I'm one of a few people that sort of think that Western Empire could still take care of them in the railway with the right setup.
Yeah.
So it's intriguing. How about yourself, Dig?
I thought maybe Super Smink, but they're going to have contrasting runs, you would think. Even in the passage in the straight, you can see Western Empire getting clear air, flooding down the middle of the straight, and probably Chris waiting to pierce his way through. And as TC quite rightly mentioned, for the most part this season at Ascot, you've wanted to be in the middle of the straight, haven't you, when you're making your run, as opposed to being locked away near the fence?
Yeah, it's been a very fair track. Definitely been rewarding momentum.
Yeah, it certainly has. Now, that is Western Empire we're talking about for Grant and Alana, and they have a very strong hand in the third of the features on Saturday, that being the listed Lucky Grey Stakes over the 1,800 metres, Brad.
Yeah, Captain Pluto here, 260 into 240. Doesn't tell the tale of the money. It's been a good go. Another one that, I'm sure he's used to it. Pikey's going to be shouldering a fair share of multi-activity over course of Saturday, but it's the one down the bottom, a little bit of leaning for Memory Parade each way as well.
pikey carrying multi-money. Surely you jest, Brad. Race number 10, 1,400 metres. A little bit of advice, would probably go wide in this quaddie leg.
If you're going 1 hour, you are...
Sicko.
Yeah, you're probably... Well, no, I won't say. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to finish, and the punters are looking at it the same way. They've backed 6 or 7 of them, and you cannot blame them.
Yeah, it is a wide open affair at the moment. 6-inch heels, $5.50. The favourite with Tab Touch. I must admit, that surprises me, Brad, a little bit, to be fair.
In what way? You had it shorter or longer?
Longer. I'm not sure how well she's going.
That's a very good point. But personally, I have a similar opinion, but at least on the bounce, a bit of intent there. If Angel undercovers the class, got the weight. Do you have sold an L favourite in a horse race of this nature? It's a real tough one to iron out. It's one of those races you wouldn't be surprised.
No.
If there was a good go for one for sort of that mid-teens money into almost favourite, because they can pop up in these types of races.
That they can. So the best backed runner on the day would be?
Yeah, it's a tough one. We've got Ruben Sealing, bar time. So Ruben Sealing race 2, well supported. Bar time race 4, well supported. It's just an even betting day so far. There's plenty more water to go under the bridge in regards to that, I think.
All right. One on the hop. Anything in the futures over the last week or so that you can report to the listeners, might be able to follow along with?
Oh, there's certainly been some Giga Kick activity.
Okay.
And another one we're hearing whispers about is Osipenko for the railway.
Osipenko for the railway, okay.
Ran Saturday? Tuesday?
Oh, one of the days. They're all a blur.
It's run recently.
It has run recently. Osipenko. Bradley, enjoy Straight Up. Enjoy Straight Up. I think it's been a wonderful addition to TAB Radio, and yourself, Rusty, Riley before you, and Mart have done a really good job, mate, so we do appreciate that. Go well, enjoy it. I know it's a little bit of a sombre day for yourself and the lads, but I'm sure it's going to be well worth listening to.
Thank you. Very kind, and same with you fine gentlemen as well. It's been a pleasure working with you, and onwards and upwards from here. I'm looking forward to what's happening next for everybody.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much for all your help, Brad. Appreciate it.
Cheers, guys.
There's Brad McManus from Tab Touch, of course, unhinged before Straight Up.
Yes.
Where's Cameron?
Yeah.
Hardy Young?
Yes.
Doesn't get much more unhinged.
No, unhinged with a capital U, those two gentlemen. But, yeah, look, it's going to be sad. It's going to be sad when the days of TAB Radio are no more, TC, and they're imminent. That we know. We don't know the final date yet, and once we do, we'll certainly pass that on to the family, the listeners, because without you, we don't have a radio station, and we'll never, ever forget that.
Exactly right. And I think, most of the people involved with Tab Radio, we've got a lot of skin in the game, so, at the bottom of our hearts, hopefully the coverage of the sport here in WA continues to flourish and you're not sort of put on the back burner, so to speak. So hopefully that continues. We've tried our best to do what we can, and hopefully one or two people have enjoyed it.
It's an industry like no other, and very fortunate to, as you say, have some skin in the game, and for everyone who has actually given us their time, and there are 99.5% of the industry who are so very good, and we thank them from the bottom of our hearts.
And just to be clear, we're back on tomorrow.
We are back on tomorrow, but just acknowledging some
absolutely
contributions from internally and also externally.
Yep, absolutely. And hopefully we'll be, once we do get a final date, we'll be able to do it in a little bit more of an official fashion and pay everyone the respect that they deserve. And it's not just us and people involved in the station right here, right now. It's, I don't know how far back you go 40, 50 years here with,
a long way.
Racing on 6PR and then Racing Radio kicked off, and then you've had all the integrations of the breakfast show, and we're lucky enough to find ourselves in these seats at the moment. Tim did a great job, Shorty, Richie, TJ, Wes, all these people. We'll be able to get to thank them over the next couple of weeks, hopefully, or week, or days, or however long it might be. But for now, we'll continue on. We'll hopefully find a couple of winners Oaks Day. We'll come in A little bit more full in the wallet than we were on Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly right. Tough day Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tough day.
It should be up overall. On the week.
I'd be disappointed if you weren't. Like, there were some horses that were, yes, they won, and they might have been short by the time they jumped there on Saturday just gone. But I think had you shopped early, listen to TAB radio, be it a Nick Ashman or a Jules, Tommy Berry last Friday in the Hour of Power said Caballas was the best of his rides. Well, bang on. So, we'd like to think that we're still providing a little bit of IQ for the listeners and the punters.
Absolutely. All right, we'll do that again tomorrow morning with the Hour of Power between 7 and 8. Hopefully find you some winners over the weekend. We'll recap Flemington as well tomorrow morning. Talk to you soon, Diggs.
Have a wonderful Thursday.